Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frank Donga, and you're listening to Boom Radio. Boom Radio. Keep listening. Don't touch it.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Dolupo, and I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. Today, it promises to be a very interesting one, as there's a lot of conversation coming out of the National Assembly. That is for sure. Quite a number of things around basically one of the major issues or one of the major conversations is the budget defense. The 2025 appropriation bill that seems to be getting a lot of conversation at the moment. Looks like Nigeria's refineries waking up, or Dangote Refinery is definitely affecting the world market when it comes to hydrocarbons. That we're going to be talking about. Also, Minister Wike is also in the news a lot. There is news coming from the FCT that involves Yes, on Wike also. We're going all the way to Ibadan. There's a lot of conversation around that as well. And a couple of other things, a few entertainment, sports stories, and as usual, everything else in between. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. I am in the studio with Sola Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Boom Bar. Let's go, people.
Okay, so we're getting straight into it. And as I said, there are quite a number of things that we're going to be talking about. First, maybe we should get some things out. President Tinubu is celebrating 6 Nigerian scientists and engineers that were honored by U.S. President Joe Biden. We know that the U.S. inauguration is in a couple of days, so the outgoing president seems to be doing a lot at the moment. So apparently 6 Nigerian-born scientists and engineers have gotten the prestigious Presidential Early Career Award for Scientists and Engineers.
Well, congratulations to each and every one of them. Every time people like this get recognized, get awarded, if I can use that, it's a thing of pride, even if I don't know any of these guys personally. The fact that, for every bad guy out there spoiling the Nigerian name, there are like 6 scientists getting recognized.
It's very interesting. We have Aziz Butali. We also have Ijoma Okpara. There is Oluwatomi Akindele, Eno Obong. There is Oluwasomi Koyejo and Abidemi Ajiboye.
Congratulations to each and every one of these guys. This is a good thing. It's a welcome development.
Oh, definitely is. Now, we're still talking about the Nigerian president. That's Bola Tinubu. We know that the president is not in Nigeria. Is in the UAE. He's president. All travel all over the world. Anyway, there's now been conversation that there's been a report that the UAE president has now accepted President Tinubu's invitation to visit Nigeria.
Well, that's a good one there. That increases the bilateral relationships between Nigeria and the UAE. It's like taking it a notch higher, taking it to a higher level. And again, those kind of things would definitely directly impact on Nigeria's search for foreign direct investment, and also being able to project to the world that you are capable of receiving the very highest of all monarchs and rulers and leaders and everything. I think it's a fantastic thing.
Okay, now let's move on from that. Interesting news coming from that. And then we're moving on. Let's move on to our first order of the day, of the very interesting. Just wanted to move that quickly. Now, the National Assembly. There's quite a number of news coming from the National Assembly. So, because of the budget defense, now there's the budget defense, the 2024 budget defense is going on, and then basically what they're doing is you defend the money that you were given in 2024 to actually justify the one that you want to collect in 2025. Basically, that's what's ongoing right now in the National Assembly. However, a couple of days ago, there was a bit of conversation how the National Assembly was going on about the amount of monies that was spent by the Joint Admission Matriculation Board. They were talking about how they had spent 1.1 billion naira on meals and 850 million naira on fumigation. And the JAMB registrar, Professor Ishak Oloyede, had explained how the alleged expenditures were made, but was prevented from doing so and asked to furnish the committee with details. He was asked with details of that. Now, in a statement, the chairman of the committee, of the joint committee of the Senate and the House of Representatives, has now said that JAMB were wrongly accused of reckless spending based on latest documents submitted to the committee by JAMB.
Okay, carry on.
So it said that the comprehensive report provided by JAMB indicates that the line items mentioned during Monday's hearing on revenue do not suggest any mismanagement or misuse of the board's funds.
Exactly. You know, it's sad how, again, I think a lot of people were expecting some bad news from JAMB at some point.
Yeah,
and people were quick to jump on this allegation.
But also, isn't it JAMB's fault that it means that they did not give a detailed account? So, because now what they're saying is, I think that the federal government had given them about 6 billion naira for 2024, and they had remitted 4 billion naira. One of the conversations that was going on with this committee was saying that if they can remit that much money back, maybe they shouldn't even be funded at all.
Well,
if they can generate that much money by themselves.
Well, they're going to get to the point where they would not require any form of allocations from the government, but there still has to be that appropriation done. Everything has to be done transparently, and you know, it must be accounted for also after the monies have been issued during the course of the year or before, you know, operations start. However, the issue here might stem from what was captured in the budget. You get, because ideally, before you make a budget, you would have gotten all of this feedback from all these ministries and parastatals and all these other people. And when you're done doing that, that's when you now put your budget together and push it to the assembly.
So apparently, it looks like the assembly actually there was a mix-up. Because according to Professor Oloyede, he said that they had not sent, they had not presented any budget performance of 2024 before the National Assembly.
Yeah.
He said that there's a lot of misunderstanding, and saying that even in 2024, they did not spend up to 1 million naira in all the offices of the whole country, around the country, on fumigation, and say that they spent less than 2 million. They're planning to spend less than 2 million naira in the 2025 budget. So it looks like maybe they were mixing up somebody else's.
And so, like I was trying to explain before you said that, I was trying to say that the assembly was reacting more to the budget proposal that was brought as against budget defense. There are two different things. JAMB is there to defend the performance of 2024 budget and also the items that were captured in the 2025 budget. However, you cannot judge them with what has been brought in and use it to determine what has happened in the past. So that's one of the things that might have gone wrong. So again, the budget office or the presidency or whoever was behind that budget were their figures right, especially as it concerns JAMB. And for the senator to have, you know, gone to town with such figures and numbers and everything, did he at any point try to verify and cross-verify some of those things before he said them? Because the funny thing is, I saw people, and now this Professor Oloyede is one of the very, very few appointees that I have seen in recent times that seem to be, you know, on the straight and narrow. They seem to be like very pious, very upcoming when it comes to being honest. In fact, it's not upcoming. Extremely honest people who have been able to turn the fortunes of their primary assignment places around. The story about JAMB and monies being stolen in the past has not happened under him, you know. And rather than even losing money, they're actually declaring so much money that, like what you had referenced, Dolupo, earlier, about how this is what they get and this is what they're bringing back.
Yeah.
We've seen budget defense in the past. I think there was one last year that Senator Yayi was talking to someone. And during that thing, you find out that the particular parastatal, you know, all the monies that they even made as income or IG or whatever was all expended.
Yeah.
And they still get allocations. And it's
again.
crazy. You get. Again, the fact that salaries have gone up must also be captured. Minimum wage has gone up. So if JAMB is asking for more money, it's not out of place for them to want to get more money. There's a part where he also talked about feeding and how they needed to buy food for their staff. That because of the level of security that is required, you can't just have people come and go. And again, because of the top-notch equipment that they have, you can't have remnants of food. Like here now in this studio, nobody's allowed to bring any form of food in. And I understand what he was saying and why they need to spend, I think it's 2,200 or 2,300 per person times the number of days in a month times number of months in a year.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. So we'll definitely follow that. But still talking about the budget, there's another conversation about the FIRS now, as the National Assembly has raised the FIRS 2025 revenue target to 25 trillion naira. So in 2024, they exceeded the 19.4 trillion naira target set in the 2024 Appropriation Act. So what they're saying now is that since you exceeded that one, they upped it. So they're saying that FIRS should bring in more money.
Well, at the end of the day, it's more money for Nigeria. Again, there's always that doubt in people's minds, like, will the money get to the Nigerians eventually? You get. But kudos to the FIRS for being able to expand their dragnet and being able to increase their income.
The honest truth is that we know that there's still a large chunk of Nigerians that do not pay tax.
Yeah. I was watching one of this popular social media people. The guy is a food critic, and he had gone ahead to talk about how he was granting an interview, and he talked about how he had maybe reviewed what he was making over a period. And the next day, not FIRS this time, the LIRS.
Those ones, very quick. They don't waste time.
They just sent him his bill. And he said he tried to wiggle his way out and say allegedly. And they said, nope. This is what you said.
It's what you said.
So he now said that he's paying his taxes on a monthly now and everything. It was very funny.
Yeah.
But again, you had it
watch
coming.
what you say.
But we don't watch what you say when it comes to taxes. We should
do the right thing. Yeah. It is serious. Anyway, before we leave the National Assembly, the Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, Adewunmi Onanuga, has now passed on. Apparently, she was this was after a brief illness at 59 years old. She was Deputy Chief Whip of the House and represented the Ikenne Shagamu Remo North Federal Constituency of Ogun State.
Yeah, it's a very sad situation. Briefly, she took ill, and of course, sadly, she didn't survive. She has a nickname that's very, very interesting, Ijaya. Yeah. When a woman is called Ijaya and she's a politician, you know that she's someone to be feared and respected. Our thoughts and prayers are with our family at a time like this.
And the House of Representatives.
And, of course, the House. But the funny thing is that as we speak today, there's something I like to always point out, because this happened in my presence a couple of years ago. As we speak today, some people are already lobbying for the post of that deputy.
Two things that they're even lobbying for. Number one, the post of deputy chief whip. Number two, that seat.
Of course.
There's a lot of political games and there's a lot of when they're waiting for when the assembly is going to announce the seat vacant and oh yeah. people don't waste time at all with all those things. You don't even, it's not even what's it called. Anyway, let's move on from the National Assembly gist. And let's move on to the FCT. FCT 001 is back again. Now, FCT 001 has gone ahead to revoke 568 land allocations, saying that these lands had unpaid C of O fees. Now, apparently on this, the names and title holders of these things include some governors, House of Assembly members, and quite a number of people. APC, PDP is not looking at anybody's face. He is chasing everybody to come and pay your money.
And again, he quoted the law of the land before he did this. So remember that they had given out several notices as to how people had to go and pay. Now, let me run a quick stats for you here. And in 2010, from 2010 to 2015, that's over a period of 5 years.
Yeah.
5,655 C of O's were signed. 5,655. But from 2015 to 2019, 1,174 C of O's were signed. That's part of that 5,600 you get from 2015 to 2019.
Okay.
Now, of course, we know that he came in, around right about that time, right? This is he came in 2023. So, but from 2019 to 2023, 1,571. But from the time he came in 2023 to December 2024, 5,481
have been paid for.
Had been signed. Yes, you don't understand. The number of C of O's signed in 13 years is 8,400. The number signed under Wike is 5,481 in 1 year.
Okay.
So over a period of 12 years, he more or less assigned more in 1 year than they assigned for in 12 years. It shows you how much papers are being issued, how much CFOs, and how much lands are being bought, and how much lands are being normalized. You get that over the period of time, some of those people never bothered because there was no serious person pushing for them to get their CFOs signed, get their documentation done properly. But now that people are under the threat of losing their land and everything, the number of CFOs being signed has gone up by over 400%, if I'm not mistaken.
It's something that, whether we like it or not, there is a large chunk of Nigerians, and I won't call it just Nigerians. I think generally people can be very lawless, except you put these things in place. Except people, they're like deterrents. Even these so-called sinner crimes, everybody does things that properly. They don't do things properly. They do things because they know that there are consequences if they don't do things properly. Until we realize in this country that there are actually consequences for our actions. We do not do things right.
Yeah, so that's the issue that is really bedeviling us. That's one thing that we seem to get comfortable with. Like, you don't want to do the right thing. You don't care what's going to happen. And, just like... And
especially a lot of so-called rich or influential people, they feel that they will get away with a lot of things.
Yeah, you know how we are now. Do you know who I am?
Oh Lord, do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
That statement,
6 words. When you hear it, just know that person.
You know that anybody that I think
is the president's president.
Heard that thing once. Someone say that thing to me once, and I'm like, if you have to point out that.
Yeah, just like they said in the Game of Thrones, that a king that needs to introduce to say that he's a king is not a king, because if you're a king, you don't need to tell people I'm the king of Zamunda. They will know naturally because you would exude it, So these are the issues. I would like to say kudos to him though, but I feel for the people who have lost their lands and all of that. And again, the rumor mills will be agog, but people should be real with themselves. You are rich enough, you are connected enough, you are the links to get that land allocated to you in the first place.
And I think that
why didn't you
some
normalize?
people, I think that some people, there's also the angle where, and it's still lawlessness. The fact that some people probably have so much of this land, or they have so much going on, that they don't even remember.
Yes, now.
They don't even remember that some exist. So,
Yeah, it's not recently that we got a call that our land in what's that Atlantic place?
Yeah.
Again? That land that we bought.
Which land? Which land did you buy? Please, LIRS. I don't know him before.
It's LIRS.
I don't know you.
It's a joke.
I don't know him.
It's a joke.
I don't know him.
It's land that was allocated to us at the bar online.
I'm not at home.
By our diaspora members.
Hey, I'm not there.
You know we're supposed to be neighbors with is it Peterman? I mean, who had that land at Atlantic again?
La. I'm not at home. See, you see me here? You are not CB. This is AI. Thanks.
This is not my real face.
This is not my real face. Thank you very much.
There was a time where that thing was a trend, though.
Yes, now. Anyway, let's move on from that and let's go all the way to Oyo State, where there seems to be an issue brewing with the Alaafin of Oyo State. So this has been going. Apparently, there's not been an Alaafin for the past 3 years, and I felt that personally, I feel that it's something that the Alaafin stool is really revered, especially, and I think that what even made it really revered was the person that was on that stool for so long. He was on it for so long, and he exuded so much confidence, and it was the Alaafin. There was nothing he was going to. It was almost like you couldn't even. Someone like me probably can't associate anybody else in my head. That's the Alaafin I've always known all my life. Anyway, now a few days ago, the governor of Oyo State had, I think that was on Monday, had given the Alaafin, the new Alaafin, the staff of office in Ibadan. Personally, too, I felt it was looking a little left, because I thought that those things have they're like a whole, what's the word now? There's a whole ceremony around those things. It's done like in the palace, and do you understand? Which is what I thought was going to happen. Apparently, it was done in the governor's office, and but to each his own. Anyway.
Yeah, so of course, we're within the powers of the governor to issue the staff of office to the king, any king that they have chosen or selected or accepted as the next in line, or as the next king of whatever kingdom. However, there's a lot of controversies, especially with the Oyo stool, because there've been allegations and counter allegations. People are talking about people being bribed. People are talking about people offering the highest amount of money, and this and that and that and this.
In fact, I even heard this today. There's another angle of
I saw a video.
Religion.
So I saw a video, and the video was from a renowned Yoruba Ifa priest that revealed that the governor consulted him. And they said that, look, normally the king is chosen by Ifa.
Yeah.
Of course, they have the kingmakers.
Yeah.
And there's a court case also here and there. And all of this was leading to that stool being vacant for about 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
So they consulted Ifa. That's what the Baba said. And that this is the rightful person that Ifa has chosen.
Yeah.
And again, looking at it, the fact that some people are angry lends more credence to it, that he wasn't one of those that were lobbying or trying to
but now this is very interesting, because now this is not just, there is a person, when the person of Prince Lukman Gbadigeshin, that is giving the governor a 30-day ultimatum. Now, this is not just only him, and there is 5 Oyo Town kingmakers. And like I said, if not for anything, I still think that it was obvious that there was something wrong, that there was no fanfare around it, and that the staff of office was given to the Alaafin in the governor's office in Ibadan, not in Oyo.
Yeah, so again, still well within his powers. After 3 years of rancor and all the pushbacks and the confusion and the intrigue and court cases and court case, as the case may be, it's understandable. I feel that the governor wanted a resolution to it, and he did everything within his powers to get it done
quickly.
However, the court case that they are talking about and the petition that has been written against the governor is stating, and they also, I think they have a senior advocate of Nigeria who is handling the matter, and they're telling him that, look, even when your immunity expires, when you leave government, you can still be sued. That's what they have said to it, But again, the thing about the traditional system of Nigeria, traditional governance, which we refer to as kings and obas and obis and ezes and emirs, are not as divine or royal as they should be, or as they used to be.
As they were, yeah.
Because the funny thing, and God forbid, is that if another governor comes and aligns with the people who are complaining, this person can be removed.
It can be removed, and those things water down the
old institution.
The old institution of our traditional leaders, and I will still keep saying it over and over again. It looks like the idea of, as much as a lot of people might not agree, the idea of a dynasty probably works in some of these systems. When you know that is this person of the is the first son, or the issue of, in the case of like the Olubadan stool, that everybody knows there. So there's no rancor.
There's a succession plan in place for.
Do you understand?
Olubadan.
So there's no rancor.
In some places in Yoruba land, it's the first son that automatically becomes the king. But a lot of places in Yoruba land, because of multiple children who also have a right to the throne, they had to create a system where in some places it's house by house. So maybe there are like 6 houses.
Is it really working?
And it's down to that house to pick. Like in the case of the Oni of Ife now, it was the turn of their own ruling house. It's down to house by, depending on where you're from. And I think it could have been him or his brother. I think their dad was not going to be interested in the
So that's what
place.
I'm saying. Like, so there needs to be a foolproof system.
Yeah,
to a large extent.
Their systems, it's just that human beings
there's so much politics
have
involved.
their ways.
There's so much ethnicity. You would think that in towns, there is still ethnicity. Now there's even a lot of religion that is involved in it. I saw a few people going back and forth on social media about people's religion and these obas. Personally, I do not think that if you see a lot of obas these days, some claim that they are Christians and others claim they are Muslims. We've even had pastors become obas. Maybe I'm wrong, but I honestly think that, especially when I've seen the coronation or the coronation process of someone that is not even an oba, someone that is that is a high chief, and the spiritual and traditional processes that they go through, I don't think that, being a Christian or a Muslim, if you really want to hold on to your religion or your spirituality that much, I don't think these stools, especially those revered ones, first-class kings like the Alaafin, like the Oni, I don't think those things are meant for people that want to be Christians or Muslims.
Yeah, it's a complete misnomer for someone who claims to be religious to want to be a king, a traditional king in Yoruba land. I don't know about the spirituality or the traditional angle in the north or in the southeast or south, but I know that in the southwest there are traditional processes that might be contrary to your Western religion or to your Eastern religion,
beliefs and all.
So it's funny how people are bringing religion into a completely traditional matter. And I've heard all sorts of funny arguments.
Oh yes,
about
I
it.
have. Oh yes,
but
there's been a lot.
It's funny, but the bottom line is that, as it stands now, he has the staff of office And the traditional things are happening now and will continue to happen. And it is the Ikubabaye, it is the Alaafin Owoade. He is. So every other person.
Anyway,
they can go to court though.
Oh yeah, they can go to court, and we've heard of court sacking.
Oh yeah.
I heard of one. The court sacked a king that was there for about 20-something years.
Yes, it happens.
And he got sacked. So we definitely will follow the gist that is happening in Oyo State as it pops up. Also, Governor Lawal has now approved appointment of 2,000 teachers in Zamfara State.
Welcome development. We know how people keep talking about out of school children in the north, but there are out of school children in all parts of Nigeria.
Everywhere.
And we still have a lot of ground to cover when it comes to education in Nigeria. So it's about time we had, more schools, properly built schools with well-trained teachers. It's important. It's not just about the number of teachers that you get. It would even be nice if you had fewer teachers and educated kids stemming off that, because you see scenarios,
the quality,
where even in private schools, teachers are not on top of their game.
Anyway, moving on from that, I just want to put it out there. The customs have now announced that they seized 397 vehicles worth about 5.6 billion naira and 1.7 million litres of petrol in the year 2024.
Now they seize shall. Now can seize anything.
Yeah.
The guys custom go move out, they will seize hair around anybody's anybody's.
There's a lot of money that needs to be made.
It is a seizedom.
It is at this point.
But kudos to them, and these are the things that we want. We heard that they have surpassed their targets over and over and over again. But that also tells you that people are still criminally importing things.
Exactly.
That's what this tells you.
Now, so basically, that's now another conversation. That are they really about making the money or about really securing the borders?
Enforcement.
Yeah.
But there's a new restructured system that might be introduced, and maybe that would see them focusing on seizing on the system as the
or on the protection. Protection,
seized
not even season, protection.
System.
Anyway, moving on from that, the ICPC have filed a 5-count charge against El-Rufai's former aide. I think the Commissioner of Finance there's been a lot of back and forth about him, is now validly being charged. So, like I said, and I know we had talked about this, I think last week. If there's going to be somebody charging somebody, then let's let him get charged and we move on. And I will still say that even though there is a bit of back and forth with someone like this, and with the allegations the state assembly leveled against the former governor, I would have been expecting an EFCC or ICPC to also level charges against El-Rufai. Apparently, none of that has happened.
They might be building a case. You never can tell with how law enforcement people work. However, I was just thinking of something. You serve for 1 minute, 1 month, 1 year, or 1 decade, and you go to your house, nobody's chasing you, you're not chasing anybody. It's so underrated.
Yeah,
it's something that you look back and you be like, how come, especially people who work in finance, always get stained like this?
Anyway, please move on.
It doesn't mean he's guilty though. We're not. Why not?
No,
passing judgment.
it's just we definitely will just
allegations until proven otherwise.
Now, there's even one story that I saw, a video that I saw earlier in the day. I don't know why I did not talk about it. House of Rep member from Oyo State.
Dolupo's people.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm
not even from Oyo State.
You represent Oyo too.
No, I'm not from Oyo State.
But you represent Oyo.
How?
Your person is the Speaker of the House.
Who is my person?
The Speaker.
I don't know.
Then you live in Ibadan for like 40-something years, amongst other things.
I'm just gonna move on.
You were living there before you were born. You can't move on, no.
I'm just gonna move on to the original matter.
There's a video
now
that will trend. We know it will trend.
No, it's already trending.
That's not really trended.
The Oyo lawmaker all he needed to do in that video was to repeat what the speaker asked him to say. Verbatim, and not even from your head. The man was telling him what to say. So that just say what you want to say and sit your butt down.
You had tried to move emotion.
You
now
don't
you
know
are trying
how
to drop it, and they're telling you how to.
And the word rescind seems to be...
Yeah, rescind is very powerful.
A very powerful word. Now, the question now comes to... See, I know that they tell you that you have to have... I think it's SSC to contest,
the educational requirements.
The educational requirement is... However, we have seen that even people with BSc cannot even express themselves.
There's a trending message. There's a trending message that is all over social media, and it's allegedly written by someone that works in university that is begging the people that are helping people write their school leaving exams that they use to qualify to enter uni, that you should please stop.
Please now.
Because you find people who have A1.
They can't even express themselves.
And they're uni and they're not very academically sound.
They can't even express
but
themselves.
But their result says otherwise.
And this is where mine...
And it's not just about speaking English. It's not about elocution. It's not about
No. Elocution
diction.
is
not
different.
That. It's about knowing the subject
yourself.
matter.
Like, you can't... It's obvious that he doesn't even know. How are you in the house? And I think that, yes, you might say that maybe a lot of people don't know people personally before they vote for them. I would even say that this falls back to the party. I know that they're supposed to do individual screenings, before people pick up forms, or when people pick up forms. Shouldn't they have some of these things to be added to it? I know it's a lot of politics, and maybe it's people that can pull numbers, but again, in fairness to him now, or your state assembly at some point, I think they were doing more of speaking in their mother tongue, which is Yoruba, as against speaking in English. At the end of the day... He's a House of Rep member, so he's not...
I was trying to talk about that at Oyo State level first, at Oyo State.
Okay.
So that is some kind of a buffer, a cushion for people who are at the state level.
Yeah.
Like if it was an Anambra and they decide that there will be plenary sessions in Igbo language, then it's understandable. So, in fairness to him, maybe he should have just tried to operate within the confines of his strength.
Wait.
But when you're going to the national level, the lingua franca, the official language, sadly, is English.
It's English because there's so many people.
You cannot speak. It will be like the Tower of Babel, where you go to Abuja and you're speaking Yoruba.
Yeah.
Then the speaker is speaking Hausa, and the deputy speaker is speaking Igbo.
See, it doesn't make any sense.
So at the end of the day, if you're going to go, that's why I said, in fairness to you, stay within the places where your language is what your mother tongue.
Why it's even worse is not that you can't express yourself properly. It is a matter of copy and paste. He said a sentence. All you need to do is repeat the sentence.
Do you think even needing copy and paste is a thing? Do you understand? If you were at least a tad bit knowledgeable in expressing yourself, would someone be telling you what to say? Do you understand?
I get
if
that
you're not
point.
swaying a note, you're supposed to speak your own in your own words.
I'm even saying that even if you are that bad, it is worse that someone is now telling you what to say, and the idea is replicate what the person said, and it's even a problem. It's a shame. It's a national disgrace. The fact that
they even have to tell you what to say is a problem.
It's a complete national disgrace. Maybe people do not know.
And you are representing hundreds of thousands of
It's
people.
on social media. Everybody, the whole world is going to see it. It's a national disgrace. National disgrace.
I'm sorry for Dolupo and our people from that access.
Don't annoy me.
Sue me.
Do not annoy me.
Sue me for speaking the truth.
Do not annoy me. Anyway, now moving on from that, let's go and talk about a little bit of business. So apparently the Yuletide and a lot of things had driven Nigeria's inflation further to 34.8%.
Yeah, and 2024 compared to 2023 saw an increase in inflation by 5.6 or 5.7%. So whatever measures and things that have been put in place, you would have thought that we will be getting a downward reading on the inflation, but of course it's on.
But you know that.
However, what the confusing part for me is that, and it's not exactly confusing. It's just it irks me. The part for me is that you look at what they say that demand, the increase in demand and supply has a way of affecting
like
prices.
Nigerian
But Nigeria
economics.
defies all logic.
It does, because looks like the only thing that increases prices first things first is festive period.
Yeah, it's just
like make it
magical.
make sense. It just flies.
It defies
not
logic
because of anything else. Just
it's not
because
supply.
it's
If you like oversupply an item in December, the prices will not go down.
The same
it will
way
go up.
You hear when it's Ileya time, buy stuff before it's Ileya, because once it's around that time, things just go up.
So
it don't make
this
sense.
exploitative system has become normal to us. Someone did a comparative analysis of food stuff during Ileya across West Africa last year, and noticed that it was only in Nigeria
things went up.
Prices were going up during Ramadan.
Like you
and
said,
at the end of Ramadan.
It's almost like as if we are now used to the bad
It's
behavior.
the norm now.
It's now a norm.
It's the norm.
And it's horrible.
December, when people are, they're selling more chicken, but the price is going up. They're selling more rice, but the price is going up.
Do you understand? You're actually buying more. So there's a lot more supply. But no, it's horrible.
There are more buses plying certain routes.
So it's not about the turnover now. It's just because.
And look at the influx of funds into Nigeria in December.
It is crazy.
But still, inflation went up, and people are making more money, but inflation is on the up.
Is on the up. Now, moving on from that, OPEC has now said that the petrol production at Dangote Refinery is now affecting the European market. Basically, I read a bit of that report. Now, what a lot of people are zeroing in on is Dangote Refinery. However, they're really talking about the Nigerian market. That the Nigerian market was really catering to a lot of was
the demand
was a major market for these European refineries. However, now because the bulk of the Nigerian market is no longer importing, they now have to look for other markets to sell their property to. Now worsen it, they're now saying that the Nigerian refineries are not just only selling to their local market. They also started exporting. So now they are also in that pool. So everybody is trying to grab onto what they can get.
Beyond the availability of the byproducts of crude oil, especially PMS, which is what we use the most for our cars in Nigeria and our generators, I have noticed something, and I know that if a little bit of research is done, it will be verified. The type and quality of petrol in circulation now is top notch.
Yes, I saw.
I've not seen that colored petrol in about.
I saw when someone was talking about how it's not even just about the color,
the combustible nature.
Yeah, the consumption that is not even as combustible as it used to be before. So now OPEC is saying that the Nigerian market has toppled a lot of things. It's causing a lot of issues.
That's a welcome development. Long may it last. Let it last forever. We have Warri coming on stream very soon. Hopefully, Kaduna will come on stream this year also. And what that means is export. Because as it stands now, with Dangote and Port Harcourt on stream, and with the exportation, there is no shortfall in supply. So by the time Warri comes on stream, by the time Port Harcourt 1 comes on stream.
Warri is on stream.
Warri is not yet fully selling out like that. They are 60%. They've not declared it like he's on 90%. When it hits that 90-something or 80-something%, then that's when we'll say it's fully on stream. Do you understand? But yes, it started operations and everything, and they've not done PMS yet. PMS is the last thing that they are going to do.
The last thing
so by the time were getting PMS from Warri to supply that axis and export. Port Harcourt, the second refinery comes because there are two refineries in Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt, yeah.
And Kaduna. By the time all of that happens, that means more exports.
Yep.
No, it's not even about the local market anymore. It means more exports.
More exports. Now, moving on from that quickly, let's do a little bit of sports. As the CHAN 2024, there was news a few days ago that I think it has moved from January. They moved it to August. It's no longer in January. I don't know why they keep that thing is very common with CAF. I don't understand. However, they have not pulled Nigeria at the home Eagles. They are now pulled with Senegal, Congo, and Sudan in Group D.
It's a tough group. It's a very tough group, but it's a welcome development. And Yanu Mashele will be in charge. Eric Schell will be in charge. And he has already started by meeting up with the players in camp. Maybe, just maybe, this might be a different outing for Nigeria. A better one.
Especially the fact that they had not qualified, but give it to the coaches that actually got them to this point.
Yeah, Daniel Ogumodede and the Rangers coach, I don't know why I'm forgetting. Fidelis Ilechukwu.
Yes. And
even Eguavon himself, because
yes,
he started the process.
He definitely did. Now I'm talking about football. AS Roma is really going head to head with Manchester City. As
Ola, don't go to Italy. just go across the road.
Oh, you shouldn't go to City.
You should go to City. I said don't go to Italy.
Oh, okay.
AS Roma is in Italy now.
City I didn't hear Italy.
City wants him.
Please, City has money. Let him just,
It's not even about the money for me. It's the style of play, as the proximity to his family and all of that. They need that. He doesn't even have to, do too much.
Yeah, he doesn't have to move. And, it's interesting what we're seeing. However, there's this, what's he called, that needs to sign him quickly. There's this drink company that needs to sign him because it looks like it's a thing. However, talking about that, can we have a conversation of, is Nottingham Forest not trying to pull another Leicester?
They deserve it because they've worked hard for it.
Because at this point,
and people were nobody took them serious up until this season. Last season they struggled. The season before
they have been struggling for a while. Before, by the time they finally came back to the Premier League,
they're back now and they're looking really good.
See, even if they don't win, I see them, if they continue in
they're
this
going to play Europe in a worst case scenario.
I see them finishing in top 4, except there's an issue like Europe. At least in the worst case scenario, they're going to finish top 6.
They're getting results from their toughest games.
Yes.
So what do you expect from the less tough games?
Yes. At this point,
and they have a Nigerian contingent there.
Everybody needs to.
So
be
we're
careful.
very biased. Very
with
biased.
Nottingham, it's such a beautiful way to see. It's not the usual suspects that we see with the upset. Is actually making a lot of sense. Now, before we move on, moving on from that quickly, interesting news. As a Nollywood actor, someone by the name of Yomi Fabiyi seems to be very popular. Personally for me, not for his movies, but a lot of controversies. He's now asking for the arrest and questioning of Mohbad's wife and other family members. And why he's saying so is that apparently there was some press conference where he had said that there is a video that Mohbad's brother had alleged he had that showed his wife pushing him down the stairs, and that was what broke his neck.
Yeah, these are the latest stories we're hearing about the late, great Mohbad. Amazing artist he was in his day. Very young man, died at a young age, but left us with some good work. However, it's funny how boldly, Yomi Fabiyi is talking about this. At the press conference, he had Mohbad's brother there. Mm-hmm. And he also talked about how the police had invited him, and he went, and again, more or less like maybe they're trying to flip the script on him according to him, but he also said kudos to them for the ones that stayed true to their, their professionalism. Mm-hmm. In all of this, we've always known that there was something wrong somewhere, but we do not have the adequate proof or evidence So if they can show the video, and according to him, he said he had that the young man had sent him a snippet, like a 1 or 3 second snippet, where he had some kind of argument and all of that. You get. So again, we all know that when things get heated, it could lead to all sorts. But we're not still saying.
If that happens
we're not
now,
still saying that.
That literally turns the case over.
Yeah, it's a different ballgame.
It's a different ballgame entirely.
You remember that there have been different stories of how
Yeah.
she was the one that he was fighting. Then there was the other story of his friend that they went to a show in
and there was there's the angle of
and the friend that was arrested alleges that Mohbad and his wife, in quote, were
had
fighting.
an argument.
But
yes.
our own story is that it was the friend and Mohbad. So it's a word against AIDS.
Then remember the angle of the Naira Marley, and it's a very very interesting thing. We definitely will follow that matter. It's sad though, because at the end of the day, after all this drama, somebody died.
Yeah, Mohbad is gone.
There's still
sadly.
the issue of the DNA, which that one too is still causing a lot of rancor as well. So we'll definitely follow all that matter. Now moving on from that, and Nigerian box office, the women seem to be doing a lot of in December there are quite a number of movies that popped up in the Nigerian box office, and two movies seem to be shining through a lot. Funke Akindele's Everybody Loves Jennifer and Toyin Abraham's Alakada, Baj and Bougie. They're saying that these two movies alone have raked in about 2 billion naira for the Nigerian box office in about a month.
Yeah, Alakada, Bad and Bougie has done over 400 million, while of course the deficit of the 2 billion has been done by Funke Akindele's movie. For me, I like to say congratulations to these women, because I have seen the massive marketing drive
and their work
that
rates,
they have embarked upon.
You can't
for Toyin. I keep mixing up
Toyin
her surname. Abraham. I keep calling her old surname. Toyin Abraham. I've seen her go from Akure to Ilorin to Ibadan to all the cinemas in Lagos. From Ikorodu to Lekki, from Lekki to Ikeja, from Ikeja to Maryland, from Maryland to Surulere. You know, doing a meet and greet almost on a daily basis. And I'm wondering, where do you get the energy from?
You know? And you know, it's very interesting. Why I'm so proud of this is that, especially women in entertainment, there's always a lot of conversation around them and a lot of misconception and all that. But the thing is that you honestly cannot doubt these women's work rate.
And the quality of their movies now have really improved. The pictures are fantastic. Their cast is very great. For Funke, she has, Fowles the bad guy, the band, and all those amazing people. For Toyin, she has Bimbo, Ademoye.
There are quite a number of people.
and some amazing actors and all of that. So I think these ladies deserve their flowers right here, right now. And box office, 2 billion in an economy that is supposed to be struggling.
Nigerians, at the bottom line is, Nigerians, you people have money. You people have more money.
You can't grow.
When last did you go to the cinema?
Oh.
You know.
No, that's not why we are here.
I'm just asking a question.
I've answered you. Move on. When last did you go to the cinema?
Not anytime, so it's just these days. It's just not my thing.
That's
funny enough. It actually used to be my thing at a point.
Yeah, it was my thing too, but I just repented.
Anyway, don't let me say what I'm not supposed to say. Anyway, quickly before we go, finally from South Africa, just coming from South Africa. As remember, there was a standoff between the police and miners and all that. The death toll has now risen to 87 as the police had stopped people from giving.
So the miners stood back there. They're supposed to be illegal miners, and they're supposed to come out of the mines and get arrested. And they were not going to do that. And people were going there and throwing food down the shaft and keeping them alive. Then the line was cut off from them. No more supplies. It's a hard decision, very tough one. But
isn't it better if you're arrested than you're dead?
7 dead. I don't know.
Yeah.
Of course, again, we like to be sentimental about things, and I like to be humane, but I don't even know where to stand on this one.
Anyway, also just wanted to also point out interesting news as we're going to Enugu. You know, Landmark has now taken over the Nike Lake Resort in Enugu State.
Nike Lake.
Is it Nike?
Yeah, Nike Lake used to be some kind of nice place where people used to go to a lot, and it would be nice for Landmark to really, step up their game there. It's a very nice thing, but there's a misconception about Landmark and all the allegations of them losing their business in Lagos is thriving. In December,
still thriving.
In December, you can see like massive turnout of people.
It is still thriving, and I think that the company is doing
the
it
upside down
purposely.
house. It's there.
And
people are paying.
The honest truth is, Landmark is a lot of sentiment. However, I hope that going to the southeast, and I think that it's good to diversify. Everything cannot happen in Lagos, and that's the honest truth.
Someone that is building a profile in tourism, and a country like Nigeria, there's an interesting place in every single state.
The only thing for me is that I hope that there is
Let's
a
just
lot
drop
of
the sentiments and the politics.
there is a lot of security. Because whether we like it or not, one thing that, as much as a lot of people might not like Lagos is that one of the things that a lot of people enjoy and is the security. In December, you will see people driving.
3 a.m., 4 a.m.,
There's
5 a.m.
traffic at those times.
3 a.m.
And you don't hear
What
people
was
get
telling
wrong.
us about traffic at 3
Please,
4 a.m.
we're leaving now.
Dirty December.
We're going now. Anyway, on that note, that is all we will take today on the bar. Okay, Tolupo Roger says hi. Hello.
Hey.
So, on that note, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Boom Bar. Do you have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead? Peace.